So what we want to do is look at the check engine light on your website. We want to look at the things that are showing you what could be going wrong or right with your website at any one time, okay? So let's look at the 7 factors that are for ranking in Google. Now, some of you know these. Did I mute? Okay. Did you hear everything I said? Okay.
No.
So, Leslie, did you mute everybody and then it muted me too?
No, I think I actually muted you. I admitted somebody.
Okay. Well, fuck off. Be that way. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't say that. So these are my rules. Did we get through that?
Yes.
Rules of a Bob McCraney presentation. This is the check engine light on your website. We want to look at what's going wrong or what's going right with your website. We want to kind of run the stats on your site and see what's really working well, okay? So there are 7 elements that Google talks about when they're ranking. These are called signals now. They used to just be called linking factors. Google changes their naming convention and doesn't call me and tell me. Okay, so links, number 1 is inbound links. This is what's called off-page SEO. So the number of links coming into your site from other sites, okay? The text of those links is important. If all the links said Eric Peterson versus saying best homes for sale in Eric's city, that would mean something like if all of them were the same, they want that link text to be varied. So that's one thing. The domain authority of the links going to Eric's site would be important. Like if Joanne's site goes to Eric's site and Joanne has a domain authority of 100 and Eric has a domain authority of 5, that would help you out. I always use it this way. Let's say that Beyonce goes to the microphone and says, Matt is the best agent. Everybody should use Matt. You know, Beyonce has a domain authority of 100. If my aunt goes to the corner and said, Matt's a nice guy, use him, her domain authority is 0. Most realtor websites don't get above a domain authority of about 20, 25. So don't worry if you're above or below that. Behavior. So let's say that the click-through rate, if somebody comes to your site and they stay on your site for less than 30 seconds and leaves, and that's the average, Google's going to look at that and go, people don't stay on their site. I'm not going to send more people there. Nobody stays. So the bounce rate and the dwell time are inversely related. Bounce rate is how quickly they leave. Dwell time is how long they stay. So if your behavior on your site is really good, more people will be sent to your site because obviously there's helpful content there. Okay, personalization. This gets to be about the person searching. It's going to look at their search. If Emily is always looking for florists in her area, they're going to show her kind of the same florist. Or if she's standing in Topeka, they're not going to show her florists in Tampa. Okay, so the personalization is about your location, what you look for regularly, the age of your device. If you have an older device, you're not going to be shown the whiz-bang websites because you're not going to be able to use the whiz-bang websites. So if you want to, like, let's say you want to market to over 55, make a website with older technology because those people are not going to have the new phones. They're going to have the phones that their kids just got rid of. Okay, think about that. Citations. So citations are about having your name, address, phone number, and everything on your page. Now, for most of the people I help, we put that on the footer and it's right there. And spammer websites don't have that. So Google looks at the fact that, well, spammers don't have citations. This person does have citations everywhere. By the way, we also looked at your Google business profile to be sure those citations were valid. So this must be a good site. Let's show this site more. Then we get to the on page. This has to do with your domain authority, your meta keywords, your meta descriptions, your content. Is your content about what the meta description and meta keywords are about? Some people will tell you keywords are dead, and I have to do this little disclaimer in every one. Yes, Google says they don't rank by keywords, but if I change my keywords, my ranking does change. And when Realtor and Zillow get rid of their keywords, I'll get rid of mine. As long as they have keywords, I'm holding on to mine. We're going to keep working them. Then we get to reviews. This has to do with your Google business profile. So Google business profile reviews, your third party, how good is your information there on your profile, and then your Google business profile itself. Are you actually within proximity of the search? What are the keywords? What are your services on your profile? These are the 7 factors they talk about with ranking. Does this all make sense? Thumbs up? Okay, so there are 2 ways you could show up. The Google local pack. Okay, who's looked for Italian restaurants near me? Because I'm hungry and let's find pizza. It was pizza week last week, Leslie told me. So you have a chance to show up in the Google local pack if you're close to the person. Okay, or you can show up in the organic search results. that is like what we're talking about with all your keywords and stuff like that. The local packet has to do more with your Google Business Profile. And the organic search results has more to do with your website. Okay. Al Lewis is in the house. Okay, now let's look at these 7 items. This was from 2021. They're inversely related. The things that help your Google Business Profile are the lowest things that help your website in 2021. So you're really having to play, two sides of the coin here. You got to keep up with this over here with your website and this over here with your Google My Business. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But those ranking results were inversely related. Now, 2024, I think this is based on 2023, they are mixed. They are now making your Google Business Profile part of your ranking for your website, and your website part of your ranking for your Google Business Profile. They are no longer inversely related. They are connected. So we got to understand for so long, we've been dealing with like, get your GMB up and running and go do your Instagram reels and stuff like that. And we've ignored our websites. The website is the center of the hub, not this forgettable thing we're not using. Okay. That's my whole TED talk right there. I could literally get up and say that one sentence and sit back down. That's my whole TED talk. So this is good to understand. So when we're looking at your websites, what does it mean? Now, Google came out, who's heard of the helpful content update that they did a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago? They changed everything around when AI came out. Okay, everybody's writing these articles in AI and putting them on their website, and they're stuffing I say it this way, we're stuffing our websites with tofu. If you go to the steakhouse and you order a porterhouse steak, and 2 minutes later they serve this warm looking thing that looks like a steak and smells like a steak, and they didn't cook that porterhouse in 2 minutes, unless you like it so rare that it's still moving. Literally, they couldn't have done it. But Bob, it's so much faster to just use AI, and it's so much easier, and it looks the same. It's not a porterhouse steak. So we're stuffing.
Before we get too far, we're kind of a little past something here. Janice wants to know, if you have the same address as your brokerage, what are the chances of them showing up in the 3 pack?
I
wish I had a crystal ball for that. Google is
actually, one of the things I can lend to that is you have a different name than your brokerage. If in an office building, there are hundreds of different businesses. True. So if your name is like, Janice Allen Realty, then it's Janice Allen Realty at the same address with a different phone number because it's going to you. I had that issue when I was with a brokerage, and we had everybody trying to use that, address. Google does now understand that there are different businesses. So you've got to use your name, Janice Allen Realty hyphen at whatever brokerage you're at.
Thank you. Yeah, and there should be somebody at Google who answers a phone for these profiles that keep getting knocked down. I've spent hours on help calls with people trying to get them back online, and they just do their own thing. But thank you, Leslie, because I'm not seeing the chat. Thank you for that. Okay, so the helpful content system was developed based off the AI going out there and just stuffing everything. And originally Google said for a week or two, they're like, we won't honor any AI content. And then Google said, okay, we'll get on the bandwagon. It has to be helpful content. Now, they didn't define what helpful was. Of course, they're not going to tell us that. But they did put out there that if you're producing helpful content, that you don't need to do anything different, as long as your content is relevant and helpful. So now they're saying, even if AI wrote it, if it's helpful, they'll still use it as relevant content. I've noticed my indexing has gone down. I haven't put any AI on my site yet. So I'm just watching this, and what I want you to do, and we'll get into Google Search Console here in a minute, I want you to watch your sites to see how your ranking changes. Because what most of us do is we pay for a website and we never go move into it. We never go do anything to it. And then we wonder why we're not getting leads. But the helpful content update kicked a lot of us in the butt, and we didn't even realize it was happening. Okay. So these are things that they look at when you're determining, is your content helpful? What was the meaning of the query? If you typed in homes for sale in Dallas, Texas, well, what did that user really mean when they said that? Was it mobile homes? Was it townhomes? What is the meaning of what they're looking for? So Google's system looks at the query itself and says, what does this mean? Okay, then they look for content that's relevant. Once we've determined what the user meant, what content is relevant to that? And they come up with their list. And then they look at the quality of the content on your site. Is the quality of your content equal to or better than the quality of the content on other sites? Then they look at the usability of the pages. Okay, if you've got one of these pages that loads up with all these scripts and everything floats and flies in the background, that's not usable as much. It's not as fast. It's not as it gets to user stability. I'm sorry, visual stability. If you have a site that everything flies and merges, the visual stability will be low. So Google's going to probably deprioritize you using the usability of web pages algorithm there. Okay, which is why I'm always preaching, just strip all that shit out and put the houses up. Just get the houses up there in front of them. And then the context and settings. This has to do with locations, past search history, search settings, things like that. So these are 5 things that they look at in the helpful content update to see, is your site the right site? What was the meaning of the query? How relevant is your content? What's the quality of your content? What's the usability of your site? And what is the context and settings of where this person is at? Okay. Now, that's a lot for us to try to manage and still go sell houses. Yes?
Are you saying that, you know, the AI that's building all these pages that the website providers are supplying now, that those pages are worthless?
I'm saying that I'm not seeing them rank. I am not saying they're worthless. Please don't go out and tell everybody Bob says they're worthless. I'm just saying I don't see them ranking. I don't see your index. I don't see the index.
Then they're worthless.
This just in, Al Lewis says they're worthless.
No, I didn't say that. If they're not,
please don't get me in trouble with people. But what I'm looking at is when we add the AI content, does that person's site go up? Does that person's site go down? What's the number of index pages? Everybody knows Mert. Is Mert on? I want to give Mert a shout out. If Mert's not on, don't worry. Mert took one of his sites and turned it over to the AI. He de-indexed 40,000 pages. So I don't know, but I'm not here to say it's bad or good. All I'm saying is I'm looking at the results. Okay, I know what my results will get me if I just keep building pages the old-fashioned way, and I'm happy with those results. But again, if you had 4 other people up here, you'd have 4 other opinions. 4 of them would be wrong, but that's just, you know, where I'm at. Okay, generative AI basically is AI that creates things. People are talking about generative AI or Gen AI, and they're using a term, and you'll be like, what does that mean? It just means something that's created. So who's actually gone out there and said, write us an article, make us an image, make me a song? That's sort of Leslie, like doing it all day there. So generative AI just means it generated something. But if we call it generative, we sound cooler than just saying AI. Ooh, now I've got a buzzword you don't have, and I'm smart and you should pay me more. Ooh, okay. So ChatGPT is the big dog. We all have heard of it, bought by Microsoft. It's now, by the way, I had a Windows update on my computer, and there's a little icon now that's on my computer where they're going to start having that little chat thing on my computer screen when I boot up. It's going to be the Alexa of my computer now, apparently, and I can't get rid of it. So ChatGPT, and then Google just changed the name of Bard to Gemini. Nobody told me. They just changed it. Kind of like Chime became Lofty, and everybody's changing names, whatever. So Google Gemini is now their AI engine. They're very similar. I personally think Gemini is a little bit better because when you get results, it will bring in Google products. So you can say, show me all the pizza restaurants in the neighborhood and create a map for that. So then you have Google products built into the AI. And Chat doesn't do that. ChatGPT doesn't do that. You also have a share link at the bottom. So if Matt writes a blog in Google Gemini, he can just click share and share it over to Emily. And doesn't have to like just copy paste and send it. So it's got a few more features. They're both the same. I think this is like beta versus VHS, and we just got to see which one wins out. So I'm not going to, okay, for those of you not old enough, go ask your parents about beta versus VHS, because I probably used a reference you don't get there. Okay, so here are the things you could use. AI for in SEO that's not about stuffing content on your page. Okay, not exclusively. Improving information structure. Asking ChatGPT or Bard, I'm sorry, Gemini, to look at your site and suggest how you would structure your pages. Now, we don't have highly developed, I mean, we don't have like lots of hierarchy on our pages. Most of us have like city pages and then maybe subdivisions and stuff like that. So we don't have a shit ton of architecture. But you could ask it, how would you lay this out differently? What content should we enrich? Looking at this web page, what would you add to it to make it more, specific or more keyword friendly? Enhanced data analysis. Now, I have not done this well myself. I need to get better at this. Taking the insights that you have from Google Analytics, from Google Search Console, whatever, and using that in these chat platforms to say, what do you see? What are the trends? Oh my gosh, I hadn't noticed that this page was up 10% from last month, or this keyword was used on other people's sites and not mine. By the way, if you're using anything like Ahrefs or Ubersuggest, which are two web building companies that help you with keywords and stuff, go look at your competition and see what keywords they have. Steal some of their keywords. I'm sorry, gently borrow their keywords. So this will also help you with your key audience. It may be able to look at these analytics and show you that you're really popular with this group of people or this age range, and you didn't notice it. So you can use this as a mirror. Hey, here are my analytics. Here's my stuff. What would you say about this? Okay. It can help you evaluate your keyword strategy. Now, the search engine results page, the schema optimization for SERP, that's probably something more that your provider will do. Most of us on here, Real Geeks people, okay, all the cool kids. But if you're not, doesn't matter. We'll still talk to you. We'll make fun of you, but we'll talk to you. But that's probably something more your provider does than we would do. Okay, I don't think I can walk up to Boomtown and tell them you have to change your SERP for me because I want it to be this way. They're gonna be thank you. You bought a Buick, you own a Buick. You can't come in here and tell us to make it a Lamborghini. Can't do it. Okay, it'll unlock some insights about your offsite data. It may be able to look at your link backs and show you some things there. Trend prediction. Now, I use trends.google.com for this, but you could do trend prediction in there. Streamlining your SEO. Again, that's probably more about uploading your stuff and letting it tell you what's going on with your site in a more cohesive way. Creating content is number 9. For most of us, creating content is number 1 in this. And that's what worries me because we're stuffing everything with tofu. And then enhancing your SEO storytelling. I'm not even sure what they meant with that, but this was on the list and we got to figure out what that means. Okay, so analytics. There's 2 products, Analytics and Search Console, both from Google. Analytics tells you how users use your site. Google Search Console tells you how the web works with your site. 2 different audiences. They sound familiar. They sound very similar. But one is about the people. One is about how the web works. And they're both important. They should make them one big product. Who knows? Maybe they will someday. Analytics is user-oriented, focused on audience behavior and engagement across various channels. Analyzes your visitors, where they're coming from and what they do on your site and how they convert. Now, conversion in their mind is somebody used a Google ad and clicked on it. If you're not running Google ads, they don't track your conversions. To them, that wasn't a conversion. And the way I look at conversions is, do they have a lead in Real Geeks? Did I get a lead for that person? Okay, that to me is when I know that they converted, but Google won't see that on their side. Now, Google Search Console looks at the search engine. Is it search engine oriented? What's the focus of your website? Things like that. What's the performance? Things of this nature. It'll tell you how your website is doing for timing issues and load issues and stuff like that. So 2 totally different ideas here. The setup for both of these, you're going to need your provider to help you with. This is not something that you can normally go do yourself. Now, Google Analytics, I know how to put those into Real Geeks, but Google Search Console is a meta tag that you can't put in. You have to have your provider do that for you. And usually they can turn that around for you pretty quickly. But it's not easy to set up. If you need a 30-minute session with me, just book it and I'll help you get it set up. Analytics, I know exactly how to do it. Search Console, we can set up the little meta tag, send it to support and say, please add this, and within a day or 2, they do. But, and by the way, every once in a while, my Search Console will go away and I have to reset it up. If you're a Real Geeks person, this is where the code goes. Okay, this is in your setup for your website. It goes under GA4 measurement ID. If you have the Google Analytics key with the UA code that's old, it stopped working last June. I had like 30 websites to push through and change over inside of a month because it was all going to move. And Real Geeks was real slow about getting this new code out. So you want to be sure that the GA4 is in here. Okay. Now, this use default set source via user param, I should have put that in here as true. The default is true, but I just go ahead and make it true just so I'm sure that it's using this. And when I set up a new Google Analytics account, I stay on with the user for a few minutes and I go play on their site because I want to see the active users on your site change over from 0 to 1, because that way I know the water is flowing through the pipe. Okay, so this will tell you how users came to your site. So this is an example in 30 days, and you can change that number of days up and down. You can shift to a year or as short as, like I think 7 days is the lowest. 2,000 people, 2,200 people came to my site. They looked at 26,000 things. And of those 2,200 people, 2,100 of those were new, which means 100 people came back. That's not bad. I look at a website as an open house that I don't have to staff. I don't have to go to this open house. My open house is running 24/7, okay? At this time, you'll see that there were 2 active users. On the right-hand side, you see that 2. That means there were 2 users on my site at the moment that I was there. That's good to know because, hey, somebody's on my site right now. Let's go see if they sign in as a lead. And if they do, then let's chat with them because that person is actively thinking right now about buying a house, okay? These people, this 2,200, they came through, but they're not here right now, so I can't ask them how they liked the open house and what did they like about the home, what are they looking for, that sort of stuff. Okay, so this will tell you about where they came from. Suggested. Okay, so the left-hand side tells you what title of the page they hit the most. So these were the most popular searches on your site. So I didn't know when I created mother-in-law plan as a page that every month mother-in-law plan would be just banging it out. I had no idea so many people wanted to live with their in-laws. It was just another hook I threw in the water to see what was biting. Okay, on the left-hand side, I'm sorry, on the right-hand side here, it'll tell you what countries they're coming from. Now, if I have a lot of people coming from India, maybe I have some pages translated. Maybe I do some pages in Chinese. Maybe I figure out that I'm getting a certain number of people from this area, and maybe I could cater to that and enhance that audience. Okay, some of them could be spammers coming in from wherever and trying to get on my site, but if you notice that you have a demographic population, use it. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so there are other screens on here will tell you how you're getting your search results. Okay, if you're paying for Google Ads, you'll have a paid search area. In mine, organic search is #1 for me every month because I work really hard at getting organic. Okay, direct means that they saw the link somewhere, they just typed it in, went right to Texas Pride Realty. So they didn't have to search for it. It was right there. Unassigned is going to be people who have iPhones, use DuckDuckGo, privacy experts who are like, don't want to tell you who they are and where they're from. And that's going to keep expanding as privacy is continuing to be a thing. And especially I think the EU, that number will continue to grow. We just have no idea where they came from. Organic social would be something that you posted on your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTubes, and it wasn't a paid search in there. You weren't paying for that ad. You were just, somebody came to you from your social media. Paid search is obvious. That's your Google ad. By the way, they don't count Bing ads as paid because Google doesn't know that Bing is a paid ad. They count that as organic sometimes. So watch out for that. When you're trying to really dissect things and you're doing an off-brand ad, double check your analytics to be sure you're getting what you think it is. Okay, and then referrals would be like if Matt had a link to my site and Jen had a link to Donna's site, that would be a referral back and forth. And then paid social, I didn't have any paid social, so maybe Real Geeks was running something for me. So that was interesting that I saw paid social show up. So you want to look at this each month and see how you're doing and where your traffic is coming from. Okay, and then this is another graph that's going to show you 30 days, 7 days, and 1 day trends. Now, when I see a spike here, like on the 1 day, there was a spike there. That probably means that there was a property that got shared by a lot of people, or maybe I published a new blog. When I see spikes in the graph, I want to go back and figure out what did I do to create that spike? What page was so hot that day? And I want to go make more of that. I want to make videos about that subdivision. I want to do, whatever I can to make those spikes happen all the time. Okay, so come on, there we go. So I think did I go 2 pages or 1? I went 2. Okay, so here's another one that shows that spike happening more dramatically. This was a day that something changed on my site, and I think that was my direct traffic went through the roof. I want to go back and see what happened that day. What page was so popular? What was the driving force of that? And then go replicate that. Because what do I want? I want more people through my open house. Okay. Okay, so this is another chart that'll show you where you're getting your traffic from and how you're doing. All sorts of data here. And my slides are going slowly. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, this goes to your pages and which ones people are hitting and what's the dwell time on those pages? How long are people staying when they get there? What are they looking at? How long, and if you see an area that people are dwelling on a lot, go focus more content on that. Okay, so now let's talk about Google Search Console. In Search Console, when you set it up, you're going to want to tell it that you're focused on a domain, not a prefix. A prefix would be joanne.chaseblackman.com. And you are joanne.com. You don't want to be hi Chase. You don't want to be a prefix of one. You want to be a domain. Okay. It's going to start showing you different things about your site versus about the people. Okay. So in this chart is showing me there were 3,300 clicks there and 471,000 impressions. Meaning I showed up in search results for 471,000. 3,000 of those actually clicked on it. Now that seems like a whole lot and a whole little comparatively, but that's what this game is about, is showing up a lot and getting the ones that mathematically come through. Okay. So these are things we can do to, study and see what we can do with our websites. Okay. Is everybody confused or is everybody on board? Just give me a thumbs up or like, this is too boring. Okay. Okay, so this will tell me the queries that were done to get to my site. So if you look at the keywords of people coming to your site, maybe you go make more content about those queries. Maybe that's something we should look into. Oh my gosh, that's how people found me. And again, this will go to the pages they actually landed on. So maybe we go get those pages made better and do something with those. Again, this is where they came from. Where those people came from around the world. Were they mobile or desktop? Now, surprise, surprise, a lot of people are on their mobile phones looking at this. Okay, so we had more clicks from mobile phones. We had more impressions from desktops. And almost nobody is using a tablet. Almost nobody is using a tablet. And no, Al, I'm not saying tablets are bad. Okay, please don't get me in trouble with that. Okay, so Al's just going to get me in trouble with everybody. So this will tell you, is your URL actually indexing? Do you ever go to Google and be like, is this thing working? Hello, am I on here? Can you hear me? This will tell you, is Google actually indexing my site? And if it's not, then we can do some things to fix that. But if it is, then you need to know that so that you can okay, I'm good. They're seeing my site. And sometimes you find a site that Google hasn't crawled and we got to go figure out why. And Google search engine is a great way for you to tell, oh my gosh, yes, it is. It's on here. Google Search Console, excuse me. So this shows you the number of pages that you have versus the number of pages that Google actually indexes. Now, Google makes their own decisions. I can serve up all these pages and Google can only decide to take, what do I have? 23,000, almost 24,000 pages that are indexed, but I had to give them 187,000 pages total to get that number. And you'll notice here in the middle of the month, what was this, January 9th, I was indexing a higher percentage than I am now. That has to do with the helpful content algorithm, excuse me. What is it that's different about my site today? Did I change some keywords? Can I, what can I do to get that percentage higher? So this is, and you may not get to this because Google makes their own decisions and they don't call me and ask me what I want indexed. But when I see what is indexing, maybe I can make more content along those lines. Every one of your websites will look similar to this. You got to overproduce content for it to take that percentage and actually index it. Make sense?
Bob, there it says below the 187 says there are 8 reasons. Can we see what the reasons are?
Funny, that's what the next slide is. How did you know? So, blocked by robots.txt. Okay, so robots.txt is a file that every site provider puts out there that says, hey, things in this subdirectory, ignore them. And I have a big struggle with Real Geeks right now because they are blocking search/results. So if we go to,
we have a quick question. How often should they be uploading their sitemap to Google Search Console?
I do it probably every month.
Right.
Google should know where the sitemap is, and I'm putting my sitemap now on my site. I also pay a third party to create a sitemap in addition. But yeah, the sitemap is something I just go check it every month. I'm not on this every day, like hyper monitoring it. Okay.
Do you have a suggestion of what they should track monthly on a spreadsheet?
I think they should track the number of index pages, the number of users. Right now I'm gathering all the stats I can, and then just, monitor, just trying to, I don't know what to do with the data yet. I'm just grabbing as much data as I can, and I'm not smart enough to yet figure it out. But this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm showing you where I'm at so we can work with it. Okay.
And Art has entered the room anyway.
Yeah. Hi, Mert. Okay, so robots.txt is a file that every website has. If you go to kineticrealty.com/robots.txt, you will pull up a list of subdomains or directories that your site provider is saying, hey, you can ignore Google, you can ignore these. Don't worry about indexing those. I want to get search/results taken off of that because I want to index those. So Google is ignoring those because of robots.txt. Talk to your site provider. If we all get together and rally, maybe they'll do it. 404 issues means that the page that it indexed no longer shows up. That may be a property. That may be, the property went under contract. Now, I don't think I had 24,000 properties go into contract on my site, because why didn't my agent sell 24,000 properties? What's wrong here? But there's something about the site that it didn't show up. You can go through this list and see most of them will be under the property directory. Ignore those. You can't fix that. But something else may be something you can look at. Excluded because of the no index tag. Again, this is similar to robots. Your site provider is putting a no index tag on certain pages. Now, I can't fix that. But I can go back to my site provider and say, hey, please stop this. Duplicate without user canonical. I think this basically goes to, hey, I have the same page reference on multiple pages. My about, like your about page, about us, is referenced on every page that it goes to. So it's not going to count that over and over and over again. Your about page is not going to show up 100,000 times. Okay, so that's there. Page with redirect would mean, let's say I have a page that as soon as you
Can't hear you.
We lost your sound, Bob, and you're not muted.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So the redirects are going to be where, like, if I have a link and instead of going to my own site, it goes to Matt's, that'll count something from Matt's site, but it won't count from my site. Okay, so redirects are something that you're going to lose those, but it's nice to refer to other people. Server errors, 45 pages, the server just didn't respond in time when they went to crawl it. And 45 is not bad considering the number of pages I've got. If the server was slow getting back to you 45 times, that's really nothing. Discovered but not indexed. You'll see at the bottom here, these two are marked Google Systems. These first several are website, and then these are Google Systems. Discovered but not indexed means they've crawled it, but they haven't figured out what to do with it yet. And then crawled but currently not indexed is a number for, like, hey, we did crawl it, we just didn't like those. And that's fine. They have their own way of doing it. They don't ask me. Any questions on this list? Now that we have Mert here, we have bigger answers. Okay. Now, sitemaps. This was somebody was asking earlier, how do we know your site? How often do we submit our sitemap? So these are the sitemaps that I've submitted here over time. You'll see back in the day, I submitted a sitemap that it couldn't get because I didn't know how to do it yet. Okay, but now I know how to go to Texas Pride Realty /sitemap.xml, and I went out there and made sure it had it. I submitted a sitemap that I made on pro-sitemaps.com that I paid them to submit my sitemap. I don't see that on here, but that service says, oh yeah, we submitted it. So I don't know. And when I put their link in here, Google says, no, it needs to be under your domain or we're not going to look at it. So I don't know if that third-party sitemap is helping me as much as I was wanting it to. I'm paying them a lot of money, so it better. But yeah, this will tell you which sitemaps are submitted and which ones are not. If you don't see your domain /sitemap.xml here, go grab that, put it in here and submit it. See what happens. I mean, what can it hurt? Let's just try stuff. Okay. And this will tell me about my core vitals. And on Real Geek sites, most of the time I see, everything's good. There's a web page testing page that I use that tells me the response times. Usually on Real Geek sites, the tests come back really good. So this is good to know. If I had a problem with one of these, maybe I go to my site provider and say, hey, what's wrong here? Why is this not working? And this is probably not something you can fix unless you have a lot of scripts on your page. Then you can strip some of the scripts off there because those may be slowing you down. I'm not a scripting person, just not into it. This talks about your mobile speed. How many URLs showed up good on mobile and how many did not? I did pretty well with this. Again, this is not probably something I can control as much as, well, I don't want to bog my site down with bloatware, but it's not something I can really control. But it's doing well. And my desktop is doing well. So this is good stuff to reassure me that my site is appealing. And in that helpful content algorithm and the 7 elements of being an SEO, these are good things for me because this goes to my site stability and my site speed. So this makes me feel good that I bought a good product. Okay, and then total number of links pages externally. How many people are linking to my site and which pages are they linking to? Most of us think that if I link to JaniceAllen.com, okay, of course I'm going to link to JaniceAllen.com. I'm not going to link to Janice Allen, Detroit, Michigan. No, we want them to link deep into our site, not just to our homepage. We want them to link into our subordinate pages so that our site grows. Does that make sense? I run an off-page blog called Today's DFW, where we talk about places to eat and shop in the DFW area. Those different blogs, if it's a suburban blog, goes straight to the suburban page, not to my homepage. So you want a diversity of where those pages land, where those links land, excuse me. So this will tell you how many external links you have that Google is tracking and where they're going to. Now this one is your top linked sites. Which sites are linking to you? You'll see up here, my number one is Active Rain, because I go out to Active Rain and make a blog about myself and put a link back. I love to go, who doesn't like to talk about themselves? I go out to Active Rain, I make a blog, I put a link back to myself. WordPress, simplifying the market, it's Keeping Current Matters. Who has a Keeping Current Matters account? Every time they put a blog out for you, they're giving you a backlink. That's worth $40 a month right there. If I get in 30 days, I get 30 more backlinks, damn right I'm going to do that. So these are just different sites that link back to me. And each of them are going to have a better domain authority probably than I am sitting here at 33. So this is very helpful. Okay, that's my TED Talk. Any questions on any of this?
A lot of stuff. I don't know where to start.
Pick one thing. You can only do one thing at a time, so that's a lot. You got to pick one, and then we can get it.
Yeah,
Hey,
what
Bob,
Leslie
I
just
got a
said.
question for you. You mentioned in the analytics thanks for showing that, because I didn't realize that blue bar to show like your paid search versus your organic search versus your type of searches. But I guess months ago, I didn't realize this until earlier this year when Google changed the way in Real Geeks that we can track organic leads. And I realized after talking to the help desk at Real Geeks, apparently there's no, and tell me if this is true in your experience, there's no way to tell an organic lead that gets converted to your site versus a direct, just a direct.
When you're in the leads, and Mert, you may help me here. When you're in the leads directory, you may not be able to tell it, but you can tell from here, from Google search, Google Analytics, you can see where they came from. Okay. Now, in Real Geeks world, what I look for something, if source equals campaign, I know that came from their RG Google Ads, because they always have the source equal campaign. So if I eliminate campaign, I know everything else was organic. Now, do I know if it was direct or organic? I can't tell that.
Right.
On the lead side, but I can look at my incoming and do some guessing.
Yeah, so there's no way to decipher organic from direct. That's
Inside
frustrating.
the leads, no.
Yeah.
Bob, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, please, I invited you to.
Andy Benjamin is in the chat. He just talked to Real Geeks. Real Geeks sent him a screenshot. I just asked Andy to share the image with the group in the chat. They sent him a screenshot of how to do settings to recognize organic traffic as a lead. So Andy, if you can share that, I would appreciate it.
It's just hard to, I don't think I can share an image in the chat is the problem.
Take the screen, Andy. Take the screen.
Take the screen, Andy.
This part of the show is brought to you by Andy.
Yeah, something like that. All right, we are, where are we at? I can't see what screen. You see my
yes.
CRM?
Now, can we pause for a second and look at how Andy has built out all these saved searches? Andy has gone through his CRM and has parsed it out to the level that he can just click on something and find all the March birthdays. He can find all the past, he's literally dwelled enough in his CRM to have this down to a clickable science.
Yep, just easy for
Congratulations.
Yeah, just easy when you get people's birthdays or house anniversaries, just tag a March birthday or February birthday.
I can tell you that 9 out of 10 people don't have this level, so congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, makes it a long time here. So 11 years with Real Geek. So yeah, used to have the same problem because we like to track our organic stuff, and it was it used to be you could do source details contain org, and it worked. And either Google took it away or RG did, don't know. And got talking with them a little while ago. And so now this is how you track it. I don't, if you can see it all right. If not, I'll just copy and paste it and put it in the chat because I can't put the image in there. But start date, I'd like tracking the last 30 days. So start date within the last 30 days. Source details, Bob, as you'd mentioned, does not contain campaign. And then source includes any of all the other stuff. And so, because you can't put it in direct because it's like direct and then IP address is how you can tell what's organic nowadays, but it doesn't take that as a source details. So this is all the stuff, and yeah, it's back to tracking because there was 6 months, 7 months where we weren't able to, and it's frustrating because obviously you want to see how many organics you're getting because that's can't beat free.
So let me see if I can restate that. This will separate organic from direct.
Direct is organic on ours as far as when
right, and I think that was
source details.
That's my problem because we have a YouTube channel and we're sending everyone directly, you know, like at the end of our video, check out, and we get a lot of YouTube leads. So I'm trying, but there's nothing clicking. A lot of them are just going directly to our site.
So in your analytics, Donna, can you tell who's coming from your organic social? Andy, can you give up the screen? Can we go to Donna for a minute?
Yep, let me get rid of that.
Hey, this just in, we're going to Donna in the field. Donna's standing right beside the accident and can show us exactly what's going on. Donna, take it away.
Okay.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Okay, so...
I'm not nearly as familiar with this as you guys are, so...
Okay, so give me just a second to adjust here. Go to acquisition on the left. And if somebody else is user acquisition and traffic acquisition, let's look at both of these. If we can figure out organic social, there you go. There's your organic social. It's coming in from your YouTube. That's a social platform. Your organic social is represented there.
Okay.
Now, it won't tell you which social media it was. It won't go ahead and break it on down, which I wish it would. But your organic social is showing up there. Now, how many of those convert? Don't know.
Right.
Track organic, I'm sorry, Andy says, Andy, just hop on. I can't read that.
Whoop. Sorry, I just put in there what that advanced.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I thought that was something. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Nothing earth shattering just because I can't.
I'm rubbish at reading the chat. Okay, so your organic social is showing up there, but I don't know that we can track then how many people actually converted from that. Because neither one of us have that code for the leads.
But I'm assuming that since my organic search is pretty close to my paid search, considering my page is a little young, I mean, not super young, but I guess is a good thing.
That's a great thing. No, and I saw somebody pop a question up here. What was the question? Can you create unique links with different tags to show which social they came from? Probably you could.
Mm-hmm.
That's me, Coach, by the way. This is Will. I'm using Kenya's computer. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So you might be able to do that and create tags, and Mert would probably be somebody who could help you figure that out and put that tag on your site.
I guess I was thinking because like you could probably create a link for YouTube and then that'll track back from.
Well, yeah, you could do it down, for example, in your description links. Not in the, you probably couldn't do it like if you mentioned the video and like the link in the video, but in the description part, maybe you could put like RG underscore, like there's a parameter called RG underscore source, and you could like equals YouTube something, and that would actually tell you what the source is. That link came from, the lead came from YouTube. The RG source tracking is that's what's good for, honestly. It's like
And that would go on your YouTube. That would go on your YouTube video.
Yeah, under I'm assuming down that you put the links in the description of the video.
Yes.
Like in the description of the video, you could just say in the parameter like question mark, RG underscore source equals YouTube, for example. That's what you. That's
Okay.
how. That's how you get the source to be shown in your lead in the back end of Real Leads, honestly. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you're mentioning the link in YouTube video, there is no way to track that, of course. That's a different story.
Yep.
Any other questions there? Anything off topic y'all want to ask about?
Well, YouTube analytics you can track on your channel.
Hey, Bob, I wanted to ask about something that you blogged about this morning. And I went to my Real Geeks channel and freaked out. Yes, it's happening to me too.
Okay, what's your website? What's your website, Robert?
It's advantagerealtorsatl.com. And when you go there, you can click on a home, up pops the sign-in box, and then it vanishes. So people can use my site, it will.
So let's look at this site. Do I got the right one? Do you see me? Do I have the right site here?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'm not a scripting person. I'm not fond of scripts, but there are some developers who put a lot of scripts in here. So on the first house, I should have to sign in, right? Did you see how the sign in screen went away?
Yeah.
And I know how to kill that. If you want me to kill it for you, I can. But nobody's being forced to sign in. I can sit here and keep looking at houses. Now, their script puts this nice little sign-in sheet here, which is worthless because nobody's going to do that. I'm still looking at the houses. Why do I need to sign in? So it's something that the site developer, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't want people mad at me. The site developer thought it'd be cool and flashy and look good. Let's put this on it. It makes it look more like luxury presence and like agent image, but it's preventing this from being a workable site now. Because
the only thing that I've had done are these things that you see, the green buttons, and then that thing, on the side of the photos, that was done way back when I first joined Real Geek. The only thing I've done now is upgraded to the newer template. There's been no custom coding.
Who set up your site originally?
Nobody. I just got those two custom coding things where it puts the little sign in by the photos and the
Who
little
did that for you?
Who did that for you? Sorry?
Who did that for you?
Oh, the guy that gave me the code, I think he's the content codes guy.
That's me, but that's not me. I didn't give you that code.
That's not Mert's code.
I have that. That's Phil Pasma's code, and I use it, and I don't have any issues with it. To answer your question, I get people who fill that out every day. So we get lots of people that fill that out every day.
Al, what's your site look like? What's your site name?
My site is old. I haven't updated my website in 6 years since I first got it.
Al, what's your site name?
Search CapeCoralHomes.com.
Like that?
That's it.
So let's just test apples to apples here. Yeah, I'm not trying to make anybody sound bad. I'm just like, y'all need to know this is not happening right. So you got the green buttons.
Yep.
And yours doesn't go away. I have to sign in. You don't have the same issue.
No, and I also have custom sign up too, if you notice that.
But when you're saying that you have the same issue,
Bob,
I'd say you don't.
Bob, I'm sorry.
I don't have the issue, right?
Yeah.
Bob, I just call into what you're saying. The issue is the site form on the right next to the photo slider on the property detail image. If you add that, there's a bug That's Philip Pazma's form that was from years ago. If you add that code, somehow it's suppressing the new lead registration form.
Yeah.
So I need to get that out of there.
Yeah,
the form,
that's old code. He wrote that code like 6 years ago.
No, this wasn't Philip Pasma, though. This
I'm not
is the
saying it was
guy
Philip's
that
fault.
actually builds Real Geeks websites, whatever his name is.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, I wouldn't say that was Philip's fault. That was a 6-year-old
Todd Boger. Yes, that's where I got the code.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what you can do to get rid of it. Now you can hire somebody, you can get somebody like Mert to help you, but if you go to your footers, come on, baby.
Yeah, and that's where it was. You're right.
Everything hides in the footer. So when you look at a website, it paints from the top down, right?
Yeah.
And you'll notice that when you get down to the bottom, it suddenly goes and changes everything at the top. When you see a website that the font is one thing and then the font changes and the font changes again, and it's because it finally hit the footer and that code executed on what you see above. In the footer, they're hiding a lot of scripts that you don't see. My footer looks like this. If you look at the code, I'm not putting any scripts in mine, but you'll see script : greater than, less than, script greater than. Just strip all that out. Just take everything out there and just go back to putting in a basic address, basic information. This in the footer is where they're hiding everything that changes your site. That's why when you look at a website, I don't think this will be one that does it, but like the top of the page will change again and change again and change again, because once it got to the footer, that footer then came up and changed everything for you.
Well, it must not play with this newer version that I put on here. I think it's called Hannah. It must not play well with that.
I don't think it plays well with any of them, because it's this new, I think Mert's right, or somebody whoever said it, it's the new sign-in thing that it could be the problem.
Yeah, you still got the old sign-in, Robert. When you click on it, it doesn't look the same as Al's. It's the old version where it's not asking for email first. There's Al's where it's email first. If
this
you,
is free access,
if you can
and the
see
other
that
one
brief
says,
second when his pops up, you'll see it's got where it's asking for everything on the first thing.
Right.
Al's one is more customized, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Al's
mine's
one is a little bit more
custom.
customized.
Mine's custom.
Yeah.
So you're saying that they've created a new sign-in form. So should I just go in and enable that?
I think you need to strip out take out all this script shit. But
hey, Mert, I need your help, man.
Go into your footer and take out the scripts.
Robert, I'll send you a message right now just to add me to a user. I'll help you right now.
Thank you, sir. Because I mean, there's the other script in there is the green buttons, which I happen to like, because the other buttons were pathetic. I mean, they didn't even show up. So that way people can, if they want to see the property, boom. I mean, I left the COVID thing in their request virtual tour, but you know what? I'm okay with that.
Anybody else has site-specific questions that we might or might not be able to answer?
I actually have a analytics question, Bob.
Okay.
So in the previous analytics, you could go and you can get a list of basically every source that was coming in. I got this many clicks from Google PPC, this many clicks from Google Organic, and sign up.
It was a little bit more
Is there a way to do that? Because or Bing, and not even Bing. It lets you, whether it was Bing or Yahoo or all of those. There was a list of the 30 different ways that I got traffic, the number of clicks, the number of signups, all that stuff. Do they have that anymore? I don't
know that they do, and this is where I got to get better at this.
They took it away. It tells you, hey, here's a total, but we're not going to tell you where it's all coming from.
Right, because that's why that I had, and that was the biggest thing that I used previously, and it's gone. Yeah.
So you're talking about like the user acquisition here?
Well, it was in user acquisition, correct?
Right.
They took it away.
And this used to, I think you're right. This used to give me a lot more. Like I could click on organic search and find out more. And now
it gave you all the breakdowns of everything, where it all came from individual sites, if it was PPC, it would tell you whether it was Google or Bing or Yahoo or MSN or AOL or any of that stuff.
Right, now I'm just now finding this over here on the side. It's got insights, but I don't think that's giving me anything more.
But by the way,
Mert, do you know about that? Have you seen that, Mert? Is that back? Have you seen it?
you have to create a custom search. Al, if you give me like a few hours, I'm actually thinking about it right now. I'm gonna create a data studio. There's a thing called Google Data Studio. I will actually create a little report for you that you'll be able to pull. It requires some custom reporting. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I will help you with I'll try to get you guys the best SEO reporting with Data Studio at this point. Give me a
Because
few
quite
hours.
honestly, that was the best thing in analytics that I used previously up until a year ago when they changed it.
Yeah. They changed this new analytics to help you with paid channels, not organic channels. They
Right.
couldn't care less about the organic channels. They'll give you all the reporting you want for paid. With organic, you got to do a bunch of custom reporting. So Al, if you give me a few hours, I will actually send you guys, all of you. You mind if I share in the IDX group, Bob? Like a
No,
data
God,
studio
no,
report?
please,
Huh?
please.
Al, I'll get the best report I can to you for getting the organic stuff for you.
Yeah,
Okay?
this is a workshop. I want everybody contributing whatever they want to. It's not like I'm here to be the professor. I'm here to learn.
I've been meaning to do it, Al. I will get that. I'll get that to you guys because this is complicated. It's not. It won't be enough for this little Zoom call right now. I'll get you a report very shortly. That can get it done.
So last thing, and I'll let everybody jump off here because I want to be respectful of time. Mert and a couple of us have been banging around the idea, do we want to get together in person sometime, have like 2 days in whatever city we can pick, and like in the morning have 3 or 4 kind of presentation sessions like this, and then the afternoon, everybody set up your laptops and we all code together. And if you got a question, just raise your hand and we'll come around and help you on your specific site. And we all just have like limited to 30 or 40 people and just sit there and bang out some code and some ideas in the room, as opposed to just listening to a lecture and going off and not doing it. Just a raise of hands, who thinks that'd be kind of cool, or would that be so nerdy nobody would go? Will's kind of like, too nerdy for me, can't do it. Okay.
I'm just like, I wouldn't know how I would be able to provide value, because I mean, if I don't code, then I don't know what to do.
That's fine. Come hang out with the nerdy people.
All right, sounds like fun.
Yeah. So how many hands were up for that? I didn't see.
I wouldn't come personally, but I'd send someone.
Ooh, okay. Well, we will treat them with the kindness we treat you. How's that? Okay, guys, thanks for being here. Have a great week, and help me learn more so I can help everybody else.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you, Bob.